Hi guys, it's Joanna here with Four-Legged Scholars. So you get a special treat to see me in the evening because I was not able to be on the Facebook Live at 2 o'clock on Wednesday. My darling daughter just was not feeling well and had a really bad ear infection. So, you want to say hi, Iris? Let everyone see you? You wave? There you go. All right, you go play in your 40, okay? Yeah. Okay, guys, so we are going to, bye, Iris, thanks for stopping by, do our dog skills Facebook Live. So welcome to Dog Skills. It's the human end of dog training, and it's normally weekly Wednesdays at 2 p.m. And this week we are going over part 3 at getting your dog to come in distracting environments. And I wanted to share with you a story about Seiki. This is my dog, Seiki. And Seiki was a great dog, and I had him when I lived in Utah, and I was able to hike with him off the leash. And when I first got him, he was great off the leash, and we did training. He seemed to pick up on it really quickly. And then a few months into it, he backtracked because he was an adopted dog. So I didn't have him as a puppy. So a lot of times when you adopt a dog, they have this period in the beginning where they're starting to get comfortable in their environment, and their confidence is increasing. Well, as his confidence increased, he started running off on me more. So then we had to do intensive recall training. He went back on the leash in the mountains, and then we did a lot of work in lower distracting areas to get to the point where we could progress to getting him to come in distracting environments. And this picture right here is in Tanner Park in Utah. As we did all this training that I'm going to teach today, because I want your dog to come in distracting environments, we were able to go to Kodachrome and Goblin Valley and all sorts of fun places. And here's a fun little video of him. I think this is an American Fort Canyon, actually. And he's playing in the waterfall, and you can see he is off the leash. You want to play in the water? Love that water, huh? Seiki really was a water dog for sure. So I know a lot of you are wanting your dog to come in distracting environments, and that could be different environments for all of you. Some of you could live on a farm and you could have cattle or sheep or horses in your backyard that are distracting. You could want your dog to come off leash in a dog park, or other areas where you're allowed to take your dogs off the leash. If you're in out west, it might be in the mountains, different places like that. I want to encourage you to watch the replay and comment below and share this video with others, because that allows other people to get the help that they need. But also, if you comment below, it allows me to help you, and it integrates the material that you've learned. Okay, Iris, I need you to really be a good helper and play in your fort so I can do this. Okay? Good job. So I do want to let you guys know that we are doing an outdoor challenge for those of you that do not know. And the outdoor challenge started at the beginning of November and will go till January 1st. And we are challenging you to take your dog outside and exercise your dog in the outdoor environment throughout the holiday season, even in the cold. So from the beginning of November until the beginning of January, all the Facebook Lives are geared towards getting your dog to behave well on and off the leash, so you can really do this outdoor challenge. And the person who attends the most Facebook Lives during the outdoor challenge, so from November to January 1st, will receive a free webinar is Leash Walking a Drag, a loose leash walking webinar. And it is a webinar that many people have paid to attend. They've gotten really good results in it. It is well worth the money and you'll get it completely free. So make sure you keep coming back for our Facebook Lives on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until the end of December. They still will be going on after that. I will still be doing them next year for as long as possible on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, since the outdoor challenge will be done. So the first question that I wanted to ask you, and I want you to comment below about, is what environments are hard for your dog to come when you say come? So are there some environments that are really difficult for your dog to respond to come in? And please comment below and let me know, because when I see your comment, I will read it and I will respond, and that will allow me to help you best. So do we continually use the word come, or do we start using a new word? And I definitely want you to, if you can, to watch the past 2 Facebook Lives. They both are on come. There's part 1 and part 2 on come, and they build onto each other. You definitely don't have to watch the other ones in order to get good results, but it will help if you do. Using a new word or still using come will be explained more in detail in those, but really briefly, when you say come, if your dog generally comes to you and you've been really good at only calling your dog with the word come in the environments that your dog can be successful in, then you probably can still use that word. If you've used come a lot in really high distracting areas and your dog isn't coming to you and is getting rewarded for not coming, then it's probably best to use a new word. So then the basics of training come. We want to start in an easy location. So remember, we're talking about distracting environments in this video and getting your dog to come there. So we want to start in an easy location where your dog can come really easily, and then gradually increase to harder levels or environments as your dog is ready. And use a prompt to get your dog to come when your dog is running to you or when he arrives in front of you. Click and grab the collar, and then give a special treat for coming. So you'll see us doing these things in videos that you're going to see today. These prompts you definitely can see in videos today, but they are explained way more in detail in the past Facebook Lives. We have luring to prompt your dog to come, running away from your dog, using a happy voice, making kissing noises, clapping your hands, stooping down low. What prompts have you used to get your dog to come? I would love to know, what are some things that you've done to prompt your dog to come to you? Because if you're watching this, your dog probably is not responding to the word come. So therefore, come is not going to get your dog to learn what the meaning of word come is. We need to teach your dog what the meaning of word come is in multiple different environments. So we actually use a prompt to get the dog to start coming to you, and then we say come as your dog is running towards you. Therefore, your dog is hearing the word come as they're coming to you, and they're making the association with coming to you when they hear the word come, versus hearing the word come, not understanding the meaning of it, continually getting distracted and not coming, and then associating the word come with not coming to you. So it is really important that when you're training this word, that you're saying it when your dog is coming to you. So again, what prompts have you used to get your dog to come? And I would love to know, especially if there's some prompts that you guys have done that are not on that list. So it's the prompts or your body language that gets your dog to come until he understands the meaning of the word in any circumstance. So what body language or prompts do you see here that are encouraging this dog to come? What do you see this person doing? It's encouraging this dog to come to him. Would love for you to comment below in the replay and let me know, because again, those comments really help it integrate into your long-term memory. They also give the opportunity for me to respond, because I do, again, respond to every comment that you put down. So I see the owner looking at the dog, if the owner is standing sideways and is ready to run away if needed. He might actually be doing a little bit of running away from the dog. And then we have the hand right by the treat bag as well. So the dog is thinking about the reward. Those things are prompting this dog Hopper to come. And Hopper really learned how to come in a lot of different environments by applying a lot of the stuff in the Facebook Lives at part 1 through 3 on Come that I've done so far. Ooh, this is a really fun one. So watch this. This dog is going to come in the desert. And by the way, this is an owner that I worked with through live personalized online dog training. We did it all through private live dog training through Zoom, and this is a homework video he submitted to me. So that. So notice what I'm saying in this video, because I'm giving really, really good instructions on how to come, which I really want to make sure that I have the sound on for the videos, and I do. Wanted to double check that. Okay. So we'll share this wonderful video. There we go.
Notice the owner's body language to create a good recall. This owner was training his dog to come and used a word here, and you can see with his body language that he was running to get his dog to follow him to create a good recall. And now he's giving 20 to 30 seconds of a really yummy special treat to reinforce that recall even more. To create your dog to come really well in an extremely distracting environment, you do have to be exciting. So keep that in mind when you're training your dog.
Oh, we have a lot of prompts that were happening that we're getting this dog to come. We have the happy voice and the running away.
A good recall.
Pulling the dog into him. And he is saying the command multiple times. That's completely fine if the dog is responding to the word. And then once the dog arrives at him, he gives him a special treat. And we're going to talk more about that in the future today. So long lines work great when you're working in multiple locations. You want a long line that's 10 to 20 feet generally. We want a cloth long line that's just like a cloth, like a regular leash usually that you have is made out of cloth. That's the type that you want when the long line. Do not use flexi leads, and you can search for a tracking lead. Dog tracking leads are generally really great to use to get our dog to come really well on a long line. So this video is going to show you a dog that is coming and practicing with come on a long line. So we're going to go to 40, about there. So you can see right here, there's the cloth line. Okay. Notice what the owner does to prompt her dog to come to her. And again, the long line is preventing the dog from running off. She's in her backyard and training come there.
Good. And then go ahead and turn and run.
Gibby, come on.
Good job. And Anne is going to give 20 to 30 seconds of that really special treat. So if you're having trouble getting your dog to come, you can contact me at ohio4leggedscholars.com and tell us about your dog, or call 801-463-17.
Couldn't find my mouse there to stop it for a second. So again, the 20 to 30 seconds worth of treats, and you could see the owner running away and using happy voice. Also, notice with the long lines, he's not dragging the dog, yanking the dog, or pulling the dog. It's basically just there for safety reasons, so the dog just can't run off on you and have you lose your dog. So I want to ask you, have you used the long line? I would love to know if you have. And again, make sure you comment so I can help you best. In this picture, you can see the cloth line. You can also see it's knotted, and I will be talking about that here shortly. But you can see the owner put knots in it. And I do recommend with long line safety that you knot the leash about every 5 feet so it doesn't slip from underneath your feet. So if you ever have to drop the long line, when you drop it, the dog's just gonna, be able to immediately run away. So if you drop it and then you step on it with your foot and there's a knot in it, it's gonna be less likely to slip from underneath you. I do recommend that you wear light gloves because that'll prevent yourself from getting cut if the long line were to slip in your hands. Until you really are great with using long lines, I recommend that you work in grassy locations. I've never had a client fall, by the way, but it is, nice on your brain if you set yourself up for success and be like, okay, I'm going to practice this in a grassy location first to really help with, solidifying all of the safety instead of being concerned that you might fall on pavement, or even your dog as well. A front hook harness can reduce pulling. You see, yeah, this owner has a front hook on. So the leash is actually hooked on the chest of the dog here versus the back or collar. And therefore, the dog can't pull as hard when they hit the end of that long line. So I do, for some dogs and owners, recommend using that front hook harness. And you only want to use this in locations that are open and free from off-leash dogs. So not a lot of trees, things to get tangled on. And of course, you want to start in easy locations first where your dog can be successful in, but they're not just going to immediately run away from you and, drag you or pull you down. So when you can, you want to wrap the long line in loops. So you can see a portion of the long line that I'm not using, I have wrapped up here. It's a really good idea to do that. And you're going to see a video of that. And you can even have the long line kind of wrapped up and go on a walk and then drop the lead when you're ready to work on come in a specific location. So you're going to see here, again, this is a homework video that a client of mine submitted that I worked with through live personalized online dog training. And she lives in Florida. So she's going to walk her dog and then she's going to get into the grassy area, and that's when you're going to see her let the long line go a little bit more. So you can see it all wrapped up in loops there. You don't want to wrap it around your wrist really tight, because then if the dog were to pull, it's going to yank your arm and hurt you. So if you were going on a normal leash walk and you wanted to periodically work on come, which is what I did with Seiki a lot, I would be like, all right, I have a busy life, so I could also do, come training during a regular leash walk. I would have a 4, maybe 3 to 4 feet sticking out here to just do a normal leash walk. And then, like I said, she's going to get over here to the grassy area, and then you're going to see her start dropping some of the long line. So in a portion of this walk, she's saying, okay, now I want to work on some recall training. I'm going to let the leash go, let my dog get a little bit away from me, and then work on prompting to get my dog to come, and then say the word as my dog's coming to me. So here you can see Dog's a little distracted, and Bernadette's going to then do some minor prompting to get her dog to come. She doesn't do a lot of prompting here because we have worked a lot already with distractions with this dog, but you will see her do some prompting. So she did say her recall word, which I can't remember is come or here because it's kind of faint, but she whistled and walked away. So that was her prompt to get her dog to respond. I also want you to notice here too, I want you to watch how she actually moves towards her dog to make sure that her dog's not completely at the end of the long line. So she lets the long line go. And they're significantly far away from each other. So if she were to turn around and run here, she would yank her dog and pull him. We don't want to do that. We want the dog to come because of the prompting. We're doing the running, the happy voice, the clapping, the stooping down, those things. So notice how she takes a few steps towards her dog first. So she has room to run away from her dog. And there's slack on the leash so the dog's not getting yanked to follow her. So a few steps towards, then she moves away so that the leash is loose the entire time. Really important that you do it that way. So, have you used the long line before? I think I asked that question already. I apologize. We definitely have been on a bout of sickness for 3 weeks here. We are improving, everything's good, but it's just been a long process. So if you haven't answered that question yet, please comment because I would love to know if you've used one before. So I mentioned to not use flexi leads. Why are flexi leads not safe? They can break easily. They're very bulky to hold because you have that huge plastic end on it. When the dog pulls on the leash extends. So it actually teaches your dog to pull on the leash. It's a very thin line. It's hard to see. So somebody could walk into it. A dog could even run into it. The thin line can also wrap around you really easily, your legs, etc., and it can cut you. The lock mechanism can also be hard to use quickly. So I do not recommend to use flexi lead when you're working on recall training. Have you used a flexi leash? I would love to know. And there's no judgment. I've actually used them myself too. It's one of the reasons why I can make the recommendation that they're not the greatest when you're working on recall training in a lot of different distracting environments. I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say on that comment. All right, I'm going to take a drink here. So areas that are low in distractions. So make a list of environments, easiest to hardest, and start with the easiest environment first, and then you work your way up that list. You will then use prompting to call your dog, and again, you're going to say come when your dog is coming to you. Again, you're going to work your way up the list of environments over a period of weeks or months. You'll progress to off-leash in the environments that your dog has mastered on the long line. So let's say I've worked in the long line in my backyard. I've worked in my long line in a field behind my house. I've worked in the long line at a friend's backyard that's not fenced in or something. And I noticed that in my friend's backyard that's not fenced in, my dog is really, really good with coming. So well. It just happens like every time. It's easy to get him to come. I don't even have to use a lot of prompts to get him to come. He's actually just responding to just a word. Then I could progress to off leash in that particular environment with my dog. And then if I don't have success, then I would immediately put the long line back on my dog and recommit to. practicing in that environment and others similar to those until I can get my dog to come really well. And then I could go back to off leash again in that location. If you're really worried about losing your dog when he's going to be out the long line, then it's a good idea to just not do it because you're probably not confident enough with it yet. And you could work in a lot of fenced areas that you could have your dog off leash in too. Fenced in dog parks, tennis courts, other people's yards that are fenced in. Get creative. But the long line can help work in the unfenced in areas. So here's an example of an environmental list from easiest to hardest. For this particular dog, every dog is going to be different. And this list could be a lot longer. This is just an example. So we could start in the backyard, and then my friend's backyard, and then a field behind my family's house is a little bit harder than these two. Then there's tennis courts and schoolyards. Soccer ball fields that allow dogs, fenced in dog parks with no dogs, fenced in dog parks with a few dogs, fenced in dog parks with more dogs, and wide open hiking trails with a few dogs and people. So again, I'm starting from easiest and going to hardest. So I would work and master the backyard before I would go to the friend's backyard. So basically you want to master the previous environment before you go to the next one. And by mastering, I mean that your dog can come without the prompting anymore. They're just responding to just a word. Or the word with minimal prompting. So like with Bernadette, the client I told you in Florida, she's basically turning her back and it's walking away. So not a lot of prompting going on there. And her dog comes really, really well, right? So let's say you get to schoolyards and your dog isn't coming that well, even with the prompting, then that would mean that I would want to work with these previous ones some more and then go back to the schoolyards later. And we want to think of this as a hierarchical list from easiest to hardest. Right? And when you think of fenced in dog parks with no dogs, you might be like, what do you mean by that? Well, certain times a day, there isn't going to be dogs. So like Herman Frank's in Utah, I know in the afternoon, early, later morning, a lot of people are at work. There's less dogs there, and a lot of times, sometimes none. If you're in Ohio, the Garrettsville Dog Park is one that a lot of people don't even know about, is very frequently empty. So what's an easy environment that you can start with training on a long line? I would love for you to comment below and let me know what easy environment you think would be a good idea to start with your dog. So then you let me know. I want to read this and I want to be able to help you out. When your dog arrives in front of you or is running to you, click and then grab the collar. You want to make sure you're grabbing that collar because if you don't, your dog could grab the treat and immediately run off again. We don't want that to happen. Give a special treat for coming, something that your dog loves, not something that you love, something that your dog loves. So some examples would be cheese, hot dogs, chicken, turkey. Every dog is different, so you need to determine what's going to be the most motivating for your dog. What special treat will you use to reward your dog for coming? I would love to know, and I'm super excited to read everything and all the different treats that everybody writes down for this because there's so many treats out there, and get your mind like really wrapped around this so that you're not going so much on trial and error in the moment. You're like, I'm going to be using chicken. I'm going to be using hamburger. Whatever it is, that's going to be on that love list for your dog. If you want your dog to eventually come in very high distracting areas such as hiking, make sure you use a special treat that your dog loves. Give small pieces and make them last 20 to 30 seconds. So you could see in the previous videos that I showed you that there's a long duration of those rewards. You want to make it feel like your dog is getting rewarded for working on Christmas Day. Great analogy, especially since Christmas is coming right now. What prompting is this owner doing to get his dog to come? So definitely comment below and tell me what prompting do you see this owner doing? We want to go to 133.
Good.
So we are letting this dog get a little distracted. You don't always have to wait for your dog to get distracted in order to work on long line work in different environments. But you can sometimes, as long as you feel like your dog's gonna break off the distraction without you tugging on that leash.
There you go. Now just walk away. Good, and then collar.
So, yay! What prompting did you see this owner do? I saw a lot of running, tons and tons of running. He was pretty close to his dog and then he ran off, right? He wasn't super far away. It did look like there might have been a minor amount of tension on that leash. So in the future, he could have, or next time, good. Here, more of that long line could have dropped, or he could take a few steps towards the dog before he runs away. So that way that there isn't going to be any popping. But notice the amount of running and how fun he's being with that running. Whoa, right? Yeah. You do also notice it's hard to tell if there was any popping or not. There might have not been, but if it was very, very minor. You just don't want your dog to cue to the tension on the leash. You want them to cue to the prompting and then hear the word and then learn the meaning of the word to come, not I felt tension on my collar, because you want it to generalize off the leash. And notice how he turns towards the dog too. See that? He turns towards the dog. He's waiting for the dog to kind of turn towards him before he's running away, so he ends up not like dragging his dog and drastically pulling him.
Good, and then collar.
Yep. And actually, as I rewatch it, there wasn't any leash tension in there at all. So he did a really nice job on that. So watch this one and tell me what prompting is this owner doing to get her dog to come. And this, again, is a client that I worked with online with, personally and live. So her prompting is going to be less. So the video that I just showed you was a drastic amount of prompting because that dog needed more prompting. And this dog doesn't, because that's just where the dog is at. He just had enough training that he doesn't need as much prompting to get him to come. But there still is some prompting here. What is the prompting that you see?
Good boy. Good boy. Good boy, Dexter. Good boy.
So I saw the turning of the back and walking away. And I think she did, let's see, did she do a kissing noise or a whistle? Let's watch it again. So she did a kissing noise and a whistle, and then she said, come here. So come here was the recall word. And one thing to kind of really keep in mind, guys, is you want it to sound fun. You don't want to sound frustrating or mad or stressed, and your dog can respond to come. Does not have to be dominating and scary sounding. They're learning the meaning of the word with associations. They hear the word when they're coming to because the prompting, their brain makes association with it. They get rewarded with the 20 or 30 seconds of that really special treat. They want to do it again. Now, if your dog does not come in an environment, what do you do? Right? Use as much prompting as possible and run away from your dog to encourage him to come to you. So if he's not coming and you're not doing a lot of prompting, increase it. Can you run away more? Can you be happier? Can you do some whistling or kissing sounds? Can you clap your hands? Will that work? if it does, then even if it takes a while for your dog to come to you, still reward your dog for coming. Definitely do not reprimand your dog, even if it took a while for him to come. We want to give him a payoff for doing something good, right? Really important. So avoid yelling or punishment. And even if your dog does not come, you still want to avoid yelling or punishment, because if you're yelling at them or shocking them, shock collar, and they don't come to you, you're actually instilling pain, which could increase fear and aggression problems. So if they don't come at all, even after you do that, then you want to use management next time and train in an easier environment next time. So you want to think, okay, next time around, you're not going to be off the leash in Mill Creek Canyon or wherever this environment was. We need to do more training in other environments first, or if you can use a long line in that environment next time, do that. And then have your dog on the leash when you go to that environment, when you're just walking and not calling them. And then you can also, work in fence locations as well. So in that moment, if your dog is running off, you use the prompting and all that stuff, and they're not coming to you, what do you do? Well, you kind of have to wait it out. Or try to go get your dog, obviously, right? As best that you can, and then course correct, so that your dog isn't continually getting reinforced for running away from you. So ideally, you want to think of only taking your dog off the leash in areas where you feel very, very confident that your dog will come to you. So this is myself with Seiki in Mill Creek Canyon. Yeah, you want to see Iris? That was before you were born. I know. So you want to work your way up the list from easiest environments to moderately hard ones. Remember, you want your dog to be successful. If your dog is struggling, go back and make it easier. Use more prompting or switch to an easier environment. Right? So if this environment's too hard, then don't train in this environment. Train in easier environments and work your way up to that environment. You want your dog to be successful. Has your dog ever ran off on you? I would love to know. I know how stressful it can be. It's happened to me too. Please comment below. I want to hear about it. I remember one time when Seiki ran off after a coyote. He did come back, so it wasn't completely running off, but he did not come back within a few seconds. It was a matter of time. I don't know how long, because it was a while ago, and I did not have a stopwatch on me, but I'm imagining it was somewhere between 2 to 5 minutes. And he came off the coyote and did come back, which is huge. I mean, that's a big deal. So he still got a high level reward for that. Has your dog ever run off on you and then you couldn't get him to come back? I had times where Seiki wanted to chase after birds, and I knew it was a really difficult time for him to break off the bird and come to me. So I'd have to wait it out. I'd just be like, all right, I can't keep saying the command and have you learn that, when I say this come command, that you're going to get rewarded for not coming and chasing the birds. So I would wait it out until he would either come to me on his own without me saying anything, or wait till he was tired and he went and lie down or sat, and then go and get him. So it was important that, I left time for this. Don't be on such a tight time schedule if your dog is going to be off the leash. If you're on a tight time schedule, then your dog should be on a long line or on the leash until you know they're going to come to you really well. Because there's nothing worse than being like, I need to get to work, you got to get over here, and you're off the leash and I can't get you, right? Don't put yourself in that position. Avoid running towards your dog and yelling. This will encourage your dog to keep running away from you and may even cause your dog to slow down and freeze. If you watch some of the previous Facebook Lives, I do talk about how I did this and destroyed my come command with one of my dogs. But also, some dogs will even perceive it as play and run away from you more. Other dogs might get scared and freeze and then just not learn to come They just stop moving. Cool. So this is another client I worked through live personalized online dog training, and here's the homework video they submitted. I do want you to look again. What prompting is this owner doing to get her dog to come?
Take him. Here. Good here, baby. Good here. Good here. Good here.
So what prompting? Whoop,
Good here.
did you see this owner do? I'd love for you to comment below so I can read them in the replay and comment. I saw running away. I saw a really happy voice. And I also saw the owner having her back towards the dog when she was running. That can be really good because it's really saying, hey, I want you to go in this direction. It can be more clear if you're running with your back towards your dog than if your front is towards your dog and you're running backwards. Of course, you could also run into something or trip on something. So really nice prompting here. They're having that long line be dragged. I would not do that unless you really feel like you're not going to lose their dog. They were pretty confident that they weren't going to, and that's why they did it. I also would have that long line knotted every 5 feet. This would be a more advanced thing that I would do with having the dog dragging the long line versus holding the end of it, like I showed you in the other videos, because it is more likely that they could run off on you. But notice the wide areas these people are using. The long line's not going to get tangled up in any trees or bushes. When your dog is ready for off-leash training, make sure you reward check-ins. So that basically means that your dog is just turning around and walking towards you or looking at you without you saying come. So you're going to click and treat when your dog comes to you on his or her own, looks back towards you. Give a lower value treat for this rather than, you know, a high value and a treat and have it last 20 or 30 seconds. We still want it to be a treat that your dog, you know, really likes, but not up in that love level like you're using for the actual come word. Give treats every time your dog checks in. Once your dog is checking in really, really well and frequently, then you can change to randomly giving treats when your dog checks in. So sometimes giving them a treat when they check in and sometimes not. And here is a wonderful video of myself with Seiki and Kodachrome where you can see me doing check-ins. Oh, I do want you to understand that I use a release word that says go sniff. That means you can break away from me and go play again. You do not have to use a release word. I also say good check-in. It is not a command. It's just me saying that so you guys can notice that the dog was doing a check-in. You can use any praise words that you want. The whole idea is that you're walking on a trail and your dog wanders off and then turns around and comes back to you without you saying come, and you reward that.
Okay, go sniff. Good boy.
So we're hiking around. He turns around.
Yay! Nice check-in.
And I click
Good boy.
and give him a treat. Now I asked him to sit there. You don't need to have to ask your dog to sit in order to reward a check-in. I could click at any time during the check-in too. So I could click here, 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 here. We just want to click one time or when he's all the way at me, which is pretty much what I did. And then you're going to hear me do the release word go sniff. But again, you don't need to do a release word if you don't want to.
Good job. Go sniff.
So immediately checks in with me again, and I clicked again. So I'll let you watch that again so you can hear the click.
Go sniff.
It's hard to hear the clicker. It was right there.
Thank you. Go sniff. So record him.
So right here, he does another check-in and I miss it. I can click there and give them a treat for that. So basically you're on a walk and you're just hiking with your dog runs wherever they're running, and then every time they just voluntarily run towards you or turn back towards you, you're going to click and treat that. And that teaches your dog to then check in with you without you having to say come all the time. So on a hike, you might reward, an hour hike, you might reward anywhere between 20 to 100 check-ins, and you might have called your dog with come 3 to 5 times. So you definitely also want to be calling your dog on the hike if they're ready for responding to the come command. So at this point, you've done enough training where your dog can be off the leash in the mountains and the dog understands the meaning of the word. Then you want to think, okay, I want to say come sometimes during the hike so they don't associate the word come with the hike is ending and the leash is going on and we're going to get in the car. We want to do some comes in the middle and then release the dog to hike some more. And I do talk about that more in the previous Facebook Lives as well. So I'm curious to know, do you reward check-ins with your dog? Have you done that? Please let me know. I would love to hear in the comments below from you. And it can take months or even years for some dogs to come off the leash in very, very hard, distracting environments. Please don't compare your dog to other dogs. Every dog is different. They're going to learn at their own pace. Like I said, for Seiki, when he started running off, there was one time he ran off on me. It took him 20 minutes to come back. That was the last time that happened. I was like, you're on the leash. We're working on more recall training with long lines in other areas and easier environments and off the leash and fenced areas and easier environments first before you're off the leash again in the mountains. And I think it was like an entire year that I did that before I was off the leash in the mountains again. And then we know he was coming off of cattle and horses and that coyote that I told you about, other dogs, people, all sorts of crazy lizards, everything, crazy stuff. Like in Kodachrome, I mean, there were lizards running around everywhere for him to chase. So because it takes a long time and can take a long time, you want to focus on the journey and enjoy the training with your dog. Try to not be so attached to the end result that I'm only going to be happy when I reach the end result. Enjoy the training. Some days it may be frustrating, but recommit to finding the connection, the presence, the relationship, the journey, the enjoyment with the training process so that you're enjoying the whole entire time you're doing this and not just like being like, I can only be happy when my dog comes to me in this particular environment, and until then I'm miserable. Don't do that to yourself. This is not worth it. So what will you apply to train a good come command in distracting environments? Should change that. I would love to know like the stuff that you learned today that you're going to apply to get your dog to come better in distracting environments. And maybe it's just one thing, or maybe it's like you've learned 10 to 20 things. Write them all down, because if you write them down, it'll go into your long-term memory. It'll also allow me to comment because I will reply to every single comment that I see. So again, I want to encourage you to watch the replay. Watch it over and over again if you really need help with this to really help it stick into your long-term memory. Comment below so that I know you're there and I can respond. Even in the replay, I will get a Facebook notification telling me that you commented. Wow, I want to reply to this, and I will. Share this video with others. It is Christmas season. It's a time of giving. There are a lot of people that are struggling with come. Share it, share it, share it. Give it to people. Let them know that they can get this help and that it's right here for them right now. And then I also would personally love to ask you, what topics or dog struggles are you having that you would like to see in a Facebook Live? I love to base my Facebook Lives on things that I already know people want to see. So you could write, a few things or a whole list of things that you would like to have on Facebook Lives. And I will then be like, great, these are great topics to cover, and I will cover them and let you know that they're going to be on. So definitely comment on the topics or struggles that you're having so that I can help you in future Facebook Lives. And again, don't forget about the outdoor challenge. It started at the beginning of November and will go on till January 1st. We are challenging you to take your dog outside for exercise during the holiday season, even in the cold. And from November to the end of December, all of the Facebook Lives are based on how to get your dog to behave on and off the leash to help you with this outdoor challenge. The person who attends the most Facebook Lives between the beginning of November and end of December will receive a free webinar. Is leash walking a drag, a loose leash walking webinar. Completely free. Many people have paid to receive this or seen it or participated in it, I should say. And they got really, really good results. So if you like the Facebook Lives, these paid webinars are packed full of a lot more information, and you would get it completely for free if you attend the most Facebook Lives. So remember to come back. They will be on every single Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As much as I can be, I will follow through with being consistent with it. I do apologize about this week. Things do happen. You also might be the perfect fit for the Dream Dog program. In this program, you will feel much more peace and confidence when you are walking your dog both on and off the leash, because your dog will reliably listen to your commands. So all of the videos that I commented were homework videos. Those were clients that I worked with through live personalized online dog training, and they did the Dream Dog program. Now, if you do want in-person training, I can offer that in Ohio. You can let me know that you would like to do it that way. And we can figure out if that's a good fit for you. But there are many, many benefits through the live personalized online dog training. First of all, we can help you no matter where you live. All you need is the internet, a smartphone, a computer, a tablet. Your dog will learn quickly because I won't be there personally distracting your dog. Yes, I am a distraction to your dog. When I walk into the house or you come to me, a lot of times your dog is happy to see me, or I'm trying to get them to do a command and show you how to do it. And then they're like, hey, I want to listen to Joanne. I'm like, but you need to listen to your owner. So you got to break the dog off of me and back onto the owner. Hello, Miss Iris. Can you please give me some personal space so I can finish the call? No, it's not. That actual added distraction can really decrease the amount of time that we have together. I actually worked with a client in person 14 years ago. About 14 years later, worked with her through the live personalized online dog training, and she said to me, I loved you coming to the house, but man, we had to spend all this time to get Ginger to calm down. And with the online dog training that was live on Zoom, we never had to do that. So she was like, we were able to cover so much more than when you came to my house. And she really, really loved it. And I have a lot of people telling me this, tons of people. You'll also receive accountability through homework videos that you submit to me. So you saw some of those that some clients submitted. They're very easy to do, super easy to take. We can screen share those homework videos, and then your learning is enhanced because you're receiving feedback while you're watching yourself train your dog, rather than trying to juggle the treat, the clicker, all of these other things. So it really helps people learn when we do it this way as well. So to book a free phone chat with us, you can go to this link here. And if you would like to look at what other services we have, you can go to this link down here. They are both pinned in the comments below. Pinned means they're at the top, and also the past 2 Facebook Lives on Come are pinned in the comments as well. And I am running a December special right now. If you do an initial meeting with me and sign up for a program with me, you'll get 20% off a program. So, and 20%. So definitely think about signing up in December so we can give you that awesome discount. I hope you have a very happy holiday season. Thank you for joining us today. Bye-bye.